Community Beacon, Fridays at 6:30 EST, with your hosts Michaeldseville and Joel Simmons. A channel whose focus is liberty. A place where the lessons discussed and taught will create openings to a more open and freer mindset. A mindset where you may reach the height of your potential and excel. Here are your hosts, Mike and Joel.
What's going on? What is going on? Brother, it's good to see you smiling on the other side of this camera. I know we're not in person, but every time I get a chance to conversate, to sit down and come together and mastermind on a lot of these different topics, I'm always excited. I'm grateful for. Guys, it's Community Beacon. 6:30. and I think this episode, like all the other episodes, you know, each and every episode is special. I think each and every episode is special. So I'm glad you guys checked in with us. Once again, Community Beacon 6:30. I'm Michaeldseville, your real estate guy here in South Florida. On the other side of the screen, you're gonna see the co-host with the most. We got Joel Simmons at the Tenacity Foundation. Brother, how are we doing today?
Man, I was just thinking, this has got to be one of the greatest moments of my week, every single week. Got to be. You know, for all y'all out there, y'all get the benefit of some of the things that we discuss, the lessons that we've learned, some of the failures that we've encountered. Yeah. But I get the benefit of hanging out with my boy for an hour or two, whatever it is, and just like really just chopping it up. I mean, we have scheduled time, masterminding things. And this is a relief. I love this thing, man. I love getting in here and doing this.
Absolutely. I love something that you mentioned in there that kind of goes with our theme for the month is definitely scheduling these different things. Last week, we spoke about scheduling priorities. We spoke about scheduling vacations. I mean, it gets so granular, especially when you're running a successful business. You can get busy, right? But what we want to do is we want to get productive. The best way to get productive is by scheduling things. And of course, I am getting ahead of myself. We normally schedule our housekeeping right about this time. Guys, remember to like, share, and subscribe the broadcast. Anyone who you think may benefit from it, and you'd be surprised who's possibly thinking about who may benefit from it. I would just say blast it out to everybody, because you never know who will pick up gems. Mondays, guys, what it takes. Each and every Monday, we're doing whatever it takes. Last week was interesting. I did a pre-recorded broadcast. I may do it again. It just felt a little less heavy towards the end of the night. You guys know I'm up at 3:30 in the morning, moving and bustling, hustling and busting around. So it was good to have that earlier in the day to be able to pre-record it. Of course, you still can leave messages. I still will engage. What it takes. We are talking about getting clear. September is the month of clarifying your plans so that you can take up and move towards your vision and move quickly, focused, etc. So Mondays, 9 o'clock, check me out, whatever it takes. And then, of course, we have on Wednesdays, It Starts With Who? It Starts With Me. With my brother who's interviewing people every Wednesday, and the videos drop every Wednesday at 12:30. Who do we have this week, brother?
Yeah, well, we got Sarah. Sarah's still inside there. And Sarah Armstrong. And like I said before, this is a wonderful, wonderful woman. As I told you all before, I was unsure about this one because she has a book that, is like the brilliance of, what's the name of that book again? Before I mess up that book title, Anna. She has a book that has to deal with divorce. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go that route right there. And it's called A Mom's Guide to a Good Divorce. And I was like, a good divorce? Oh man, this is gonna be a tough one. And Anna, she was a little timid. She was concerned. She thought that Joel was going to come out of character, but I didn't. I did well with myself. And I spoke with her, and it turns out that she has a beautiful philosophy. This was not that she was looking for a divorce. It was that a divorce was coming at her full speed, and there's nothing she could do about it. But she ended up making the situation so good. It's so beneficial that I asked some people to check out this video last week, and again this week coming up, because what she talks about in there can change a married man's life, much less if you get ready to go through a divorce. Because I kept on hinting to her, I was like, sound like this is something that somebody needs to read before they get married. This thing is so deep, because like the things that she did and what she was creating, if you had done that before you got married, you would have lived a long life together, because that's what she had to do in order to take care of the kids and have the relationships and all. And I don't want to spoil the whole thing. Y'all watch that, and I guarantee for the person that is suffering and in the midst of a possible divorce, and even more so for the person that is preparing to get married, and yet and still for those that are married and things are going well, if you have marriage on your mind, read this book, period.
I love it. I love it. And you spoke to something. I can't wait to, we're definitely going to get back to those topics, especially in regards to divorce, relationships, etc. I mean, we have laid some solid foundation here on Community Beacon. I'm thinking even going back to last year when you really got in depth and we spoke about a lot of, figuring out the foundation, laying the foundation, the pillars, etc., these different steps and processes. And so I can't wait till we get into it, because it's needed. I mean, I've had some conversations this week with people. I'm just like, wow, the thought processes that we have, and things are slowly beginning to be more so about people's feelings than actually solid, logical steps and foundations or things that we can find that we need to be paying attention to. So I can't wait. Eventually we'll jump back into that. But one of the things that you mentioned also was this book sounded like something that a person should have had before they entered into that contract, into that agreement of marriage. And just to transition to like what we're talking about this month in regards to clarity, etc. Like these things that we're telling you, like, and I remember my mentors of old used to say it before, like it's better to get everything prepared now before you get into business, right? Before you even start your business, whatever, it's better to understand exactly what it is. Some of these things that we do when we come up with a business plan. Brother, you mentioned something last week where it was you not only had a business plan, but you also had a what? What was the last week you mentioned?
It's a business life plan. A business life plan. So it encompasses both the business aspect as well as my personal life. I know you're going to go into deeper with that, but I think that's something that I never had done that before. You hear about people helping you to write your business plan, but here's the issue. What are you going to do about your family? So you write up this beautiful business plan on what you're going to do to make your business successful, but people that are, especially entrepreneurs that are getting into this, they realize what they're going into, but they have no life plan, and they end up becoming divorced. They end up not seeing their children. Like nobody else was a part of the plan. It was just the business plan, how to get from A to Z with the business. And they take up as much space and time and whatever it is in order to do that. And they expect for everybody to just kind of like lay down and be prepared. And, the GOAT, Kobe Bryant even said, one of the things that you have to do is you got to go to all of those people that mean so much to you. And you got to tell them, hey, listen, this is what I'm about to do. It's going to be this type of journey. And I'm going to see you on these types of days, whatever it is, Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever those days are that you're telling them you're going to be there. But as far as it comes by the day by day, listen, I'm not going to be there. Because at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm at the gym, not going to the gym. Like I'm finishing my 8th set. I'm about to go take me an ice bath so I can do my second round. Like that's the type of stuff that he was talking about. So people are prepared everywhere.
Yeah. Because you want that supporting cast when you're in this business. If you can get into this supporting cast of people around you, and they understand what and give them a choice, because the worst thing that happen is you not give them a choice and them not really be on board. And then all of a sudden, when you start to hit some of these, we have these ebbs and flows in business. You start to hit an ebb, and it's the flow. We don't know when the next flow is happening. You're stuck. It makes it a little bit tougher. All right, cool. Let's get into this, brother. Let me fix my mic. Apparently, okay, it's already fixed. And I appreciate you. The value of preparation and persistence. The value of preparation and persistence is the title of today's show. Pre-meeting that we had yesterday, the brother and I, we kind of were talking about, everything that it takes in order to, start to level up in business. And sometimes, especially at the beginning, it's you're attempting to get this momentum started. And there's a lot of energy involved in getting the momentum started. Now, here's the reason for the energy is because for most of us, for most people in general, this is the first time that you're starting a business. So there's a lot of energy so you don't really know where or how to start to see your first couple of dollars or your consistent dollars. Let me say your consistent dollars. So you don't know how to see it. So you're doing a lot of things. And although you can have a coach, you can have a mentor, you can have people and you can follow a certain model, we have to understand that we are in our own, this is our journey, and we can follow, success does leave clues, but we're working we're working on our own journey. So we don't know when certain things are going to happen for us. All we can do is put in the daily activities, which we spoke about before. We do the daily activities, and eventually we should start to see, we start to see something. So we're planting these seeds. The brother calls it PAM management. So we start to project. We already have our projection, our vision. We start to act, but we don't know when this thing is actually going to manifest. You don't know when the seed is going to pop up. That's not our business. Our business is to continue doing these different actions. And so just in my journey of doing it, and I coach other agents because, we're prospecting all over the country. So I help to coach other agents and I have conversations with other agents. And you'd be surprised that where a lot of people, I wouldn't say they give up, but they start to get dejected. Because, if it was easy, well, what's the saying? If it's easy, everybody would be doing it. And right. the value more than likely wouldn't be there. Like if it's easy and everybody can do it, then there's really no value to it, right? There's really you're not going to reap as much of a reward because everyone's there to take part of the reward. Right. So what you see happening is that a lot of people they start, and this I can tell you we have a Zoom group, and January 1st. There might be 60, 70 people in the Zoom group all over the country, 60 or 70 people. And we start off and it's 8 o'clock in the morning and we're making our calls. You're just making your calls. People are excited. You start to see people type in the chat, yeah, I'm ready. This is my year. This is my year. This is going to happen. And they're going. And I'm going to tell you what happens. 30 days later, that group goes from 60 to 40. 2 months down the line, that 40 goes to 20. And I'm telling you right now, I'm in September, and day in, day out in that Zoom group, we have about 6 to 7 people what's that? That's almost like a 90% attrition rate. Like we got 90% of people who dropped off. And then even within that 6 or 7, that's when you start to have those conversations where people are like, boy, Mike, I don't know. But it just happened. That's that core. You want to push each other. But point being is that we went from 60 to 6 to 7 consistently. And then there's some days where you get 3. So it's like people. So if that 60 stayed 60 throughout the entire time, maybe what we would be doing would not be as much value. There wouldn't be as much money there because everyone would be doing it. Does that make sense? And so the point of the matter is about continuing to be persistent throughout this and persevering throughout this entire time because, we want to get to the goal. That's fire.
So there's a statistic that we utilize when we're prospecting, and it's the 10-3-1. It's a 10-3. I shouldn't even say it's a system, but this is the law of the averages. Law of the averages 10-3-1. For every 10 people that you prospect, 3 people will respond, and 1 person generally will be the individual that's either buying or that you're able to sell whatever it is. You'll have fulfillment with 1 person. So as those numbers grow, you got 100 people, you got 30 people that will respond, and you're down to like 10 people. Your margin is about 10 people that are actually going to, they'll be looking for whatever that product or service is, and they actually want to purchase it. That it's still up to you to close whatever that gap is. It's still up to you on whether or not your closing skills are there. But you got to think about that because, Mike, what you're talking about is like, out of 100 people that were in that room, 90% attrition. These are the numbers, y'all. These are the numbers. So when you start talking about like the value of preparation and persistence, it's like, okay, so how does this have to deal with moving forward? Well, there's a whole lot of value in your preparation because once you know the numbers, you realize that your success ratio is higher when you are applying it towards the numbers. I don't mean that you can't get like a good break or that, or that you don't get a blessing or, God isn't merciful on you and something comes your way on the first call. Yes. That happens all the time. And I'm grateful for all the people that it has happened to, but on average, it doesn't happen that way. It's not the law of averages. So do you play with the law of averages and say, I'm going to call 100 people so that I can get 10 people sitting in front of me that are hot for the market that I have right now? And then at that point in time, it's all about my preparation, right? It's all about what I've done to prepare myself to speak wisely and advisedly to this individual, to their need, to be able to bridge the gap between their need and my ability to deliver whatever it is, as far as my sales or my services, my distribution, whatever it is. Can I build? Or am I just going to go out there and haphazardly call 1 or 2 people and say, well, they say it's a seller's market, but ain't nobody, it's a seller's market, but ain't nobody buying. That's no good for me. That's no good. You're going to meet failure really quickly. Everybody will meet failure really quickly. Just by the law of averages, Mike, who's within that 10% down to the last 6 or 7 percentile after reaching the 9th, almost 10th month of the year, he has met many no's in order to get his few yeses. Am I not right?
Well, let me tell you something.
Talk to me then, brother.
I haven't been denied more now than probably in my entire life. And I'm going to tell you what, this is why you got to fall in love with the process of it. You know, if you're falling in love with the process of it, you're not, you know, you got your goals, you have your benchmark set, etc. And this is why you got, you know, so I totally understand that part. But there's just falling in love with the processes versus what the process will give you. Like day in, day out, that's what you have to wake up to. Like, I'm excited about this day because I get a chance to, you know, XYZ here. We spoke about this preparation because we were telling about persistence, and the persistence is basically in the law of averages. But then the preparation is paramount too, because from that January until now, like, we have to continuously be working on our skills, right? So you got to continuously be working on your skills. You have to continuously taking in information, not just any information, but you need to be taking in information that is, you know, the right information. You got to be taking in the right information. You have to have the right knowledge. I think somebody said Michael Jordan said it. I don't necessarily know if he said it, but he said that you can be in the gym working 8 hours a day, but if you're practicing the wrong jump shot, all you're doing is practicing wrong, right? You're practicing the wrong jump shot. So you need to be you need to be getting the right information, and you need to be practicing that and make that a full-time job. So that's the preparation you needed, and then you got to be disciplined in order to do it. Like, you have to be disciplined in order to do it and be able to unbiasedly judge yourself on this stuff, you know, because only you know whether or not you're operating at your highest level. You know, me and Joe can have these conversations, and he can believe that, and we be partners, and he can believe that I'm operating at my highest level, but I'm over here, he's over there. So he can only think that I'm doing it, you know, and then when I'm showing up. But here's the thing also with that is that after a while, and I had a coach tell me this once before, he was like, you know how I know you're doing what you're doing and what you're not doing is because of the questions that you ask me.
That's it.
He said, because if you're asking me the same questions that you were asking me in January, if we're still going over the same issues that we had in January, February, then I know that you're not outside either practicing it, and you're more than likely not applying it.
That's it.
Right. So you have to, while you're doing that, that's the appliance. So all these things just go hand in hand: the preparation, the persistence, the perseverance, just persevering throughout this entire time. Brother, we say things a lot, and one of the things that we say, and we had the discussion yesterday, and you and I know, and we came to agreement that words mean things, like they mean something. Words are here for a reason. Let's talk about some of these words, and I had a conversation with my brother earlier today in regards to what's hard. When we say this is hard, and so I'm going to be very careful about the words that I use when we're talking about the work it is that we're doing or we continuously to do. We are at a point in history when technically we have this is the easiest time ever to gather information. Information is in abundance. That's number one. There was a time, and I'm talking about maybe 30 years ago, maybe before 30, maybe 30 years ago. I want to say 30 years ago, where you couldn't even get a lot of this information in the library. You could try. You had to go to specialty libraries. I remember I went to Florida A&M. I would go to Florida State's library in order to study, because Florida State had like a 4 or 5 story. You know, it was a huge library. So there was more information in that library. A lot of people didn't necessarily have access to these different things, but I was going to another school to get the information when I was in college. This is 20 years ago. Now everything here is at our fingertips. So when we start talking about what's hard and what's not hard, you know, now you walking around with more than anything you could ever have in regards to your phone. So it's not necessarily what's hard or what's not hard. We need to start talking more so about the discipline, the determination in order to get to where it is that we need to get to. Because Lord knows, you know, and that was my favorite saying, was like, I'm not on anybody's roof. You know what I mean? In the sun. So it's not that kind of weary. But now we have this mental weariness that we're having, that we're technically putting on ourselves because of the way that we describe things. Oh, this is boring. Oh, this is hard. Oh, this is frustrating. Like, we have to stop using those different words. We need to reframe what it is that we're doing. You know, we're talking about the law of averages. We're talking about going from really, for us, it's like 1% to 2% is going to lead to an actual sale. You know, so 1% to 2% of the people that you talk to. So if you talk to 100 people, you can expect 1% to 2%, and that's if you're average in sales, right? It could be less, it could be more, but you want it to be more. You know, so but you know, let's say 1% to 2%. So we spoke about all the no's that I'm getting. That means that 98 to 99 people that I speak to essentially is a no, and it's up to us to figure out like where we can cut it, where we can make it happen. But I get to do that from the comfort of my own home. You know, I can still go into the office, air conditioned. I'm just making phone calls. I'm not door knocking. It's hard for me to complain, but just to move forward. You know what I mean? So like, how do we persist, and how do we persist in this matter? I think it's a lot of it has to do with reframing of how we see things and the words that we use in order to see things. What do you think, bro?
I'm in agreement with you. I mean, because I'm running the same numbers, right? I'm running the same numbers, you know, out of 100 people. And so for me, my preparation, part of my preparation, I mean, there's a mental preparation, y'all. This is the benefit of having a coach. I'm going to tell you, this is the benefit of having a coach. And it's a huge thing. You know, years ago, I didn't even think about having a coach. And like, since 2020, everybody's talking about a coach of something. Like, the coaching market shot through the roof. And for those people who were actual coaches in 2019, if they were able to move from in person to Zoom, they are now millionaires. I mean, they're doing very, very well if they know how to deal with their money. Maybe they don't know how to deal with their money. So I'm cautioned on that. But nonetheless, because it was such a great move, because it was in that period of time that people began to understand there's a value in having a coach, you know. And the thing about having a coach is like a coach is a very acceptable word. A coach or a consultant, very acceptable, you know. And I think that there should be some other things that are very acceptable that in our society pre-2020 may not have been as acceptable, you know, like a counselor or a therapist or a psychologist. Those type of people, you know, you didn't necessarily want to go and you didn't talk about that around the water cooler in the middle of the job. Like, oh, last night I was talking with my therapist, because automatically that was like a red flag. It's like, don't date Joel. You know, he's out there with his, and the thing about it is they probably needed one themselves.
Can I get an amen?
Yeah, somebody in the background. You know what I'm saying? But here it is. Now you got somebody called a coach, and a coach could be somebody that's helping you to deal with your junk. You know, and there's always the disclaimers like, hey, listen, I'm not a psychological professor. If you want that type of thing, you need to go see, you know, a psychologist, a therapist, you know, check boxes and all that type of stuff. Nonetheless, preparation is key. Brother, you said a couple of things. Number one, you said during this time of preparation, this is the time when you should be studying. You should be learning the right things. It's like, well, how do I learn right things? You know, Mr. Smart Aleck in the back row who wants to ask the one question of the year, right? And it's like, how do you learn the right thing? Well, it's just like you were in school. You go to the class, and when you don't understand something, you raise your hand. That's how you ask the right thing. So number one, you got to get into a class. You got to get into the school. You need to get into the school. You need to get into the classroom. You need to get around the teacher. You need to get around somebody who knows more about what you're doing than you know. And then you need to start learning. And if you get to a point where like they're not teaching you, they're not feeding you anymore, then you need to start migrating. You need to talk with that teacher. Be like, hey, listen, you know, how can I level this up? If they can't answer you, if they can't do this, and if there's any type of good teacher, coach, instructor, they're going to point you in the direction that someone has a greater specialty in the field of what you need to know. Meanwhile, what else can we do? Because we talked about this before. So you got a coach that's alive, and then you got a coach that's being passed away. Start researching people that have already done this.
Here, you know what, brother, and I'm interrupting. I apologize.
Go ahead.
For whatever reason in our culture, and this is Western culture, it might be, or maybe it's a socio-economic thing of asking for help. Like you're going to be thought of being less than if you were to ask for help and actually be vulnerable to someone else. Like is that what it is? You know what I mean in regards to seeking help? Because I'm going to tell you, almost all the successful people that I know, and I'm trying to think, and my mentor is 85 years old. Went to go see him last week. Oh my God, this man is saying he's the happiest he's ever been in his life right now. Like, he talks about the people who came before him. And you can put us both back on the same screen. He talks about the same people that came before him. He speaks about his mentors, him always going to gain knowledge. He gave some certain caveats. Mike, leave your wallet at home. This is one of his things. Because if it's really something that you want to do, there's always going to be another time for you to do it. Like, so, you get these people who say, oh, this is your last chance. We're only taking 10 more people. All right, just wait a little bit. It might come back around the corner, right? That's his caveat. He's 85 years old. He's been going to these different seminars and teachings and learning information since way before I was born, since the 60s and 70s. He still has stories about people who were teaching him at that time. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. He's 85, knows more about real estate than forgot about things in real estate that most people haven't even learned. Like, he's been in it that long. He's that good at what he does. The ideas, information that he has. If there's a learning thing to be had, there's a convention coming up. Right now, there's one in October. Prior to that convention, there's going to be some type of educational format. He's going. And not only does he go, but he participates. If someone is coming from that, he's successful. Like, he's probably spends more on taxes than most people make in a year anyways, right? I mean, I've 6 figures, he's spending on taxes, you know what I mean? So that gives you an idea as to where he is and what he has going on. But if this person who's at 85 could essentially say, I'm done. Like, I know because he can, who would question him? Like, I've learned everything that I need to learn. He's still telling me, like, I haven't even scratched the surface yet. Like, he says, I can't even scratch the surface yet. He's in awe. He's learning from the younger people. He's learning from, there's not too many older people than him. Jim, if you're watching, there's not too many older people than him. But he's learning from everybody because there's something that can be learned at. Me and him sat down. I was at his house on Friday last week. And we sat down, and it was me and his wife. And we were sitting there looking at the dock, staring at the water. Beautiful, beautiful view. And we're having a conversation. And I'm talking to him about social media and its effects on the human psyche, especially in the last 2 years. Once we were locked down, etc. And he's like he's writing stuff down. Like, he's so into it. Like, I'm looking at him, I'm talking. I'm just like, Jim, I can't be giving you all the, like, in my mind, I'm like, I can't be giving this guy new information. But he's like, Mike, that's why I love when you come around, because I'm learning more. Now, he could easily be that rigid person who's like, yeah, that happened before or whatever. But it's just like this intense yearning to learn. And I'm just trying to figure out, for a lot of us, and this was me at one point in time as well. So this is where I'm wanting to I'm so passionate about this, because I see a lot of us being left behind because we don't want to take in this new information, or we don't want to seek this new information or to help to get this new information. Like, it's not making us being less than. Sometimes we get so caught up in this, fake it until we make it attitude. And at this point in time, that we may need to get rid of that saying, because what happens when you fake it is that you lose out on a lot of opportunities, because the ones who know don't even want to deal with you. You know what I mean? The ones who know want people who are thirsty to learn, just like they're thirsty to learn, because nobody has it all. Does that make sense? Like, I'm just trying to get it across to a lot of our audience and listeners that we're all here attempting to make it the best of what it is that we have. But if we're pretending, then it's just like, okay, I can't help you.
I think that's fire. And I'm gonna tell you, I just dealt with something like that on last night, as a matter of fact. And it's not to, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that. It has nothing to do with that. I was going to see if I could look it up, but I'm not all that great in looking up my Instagram and stuff like that. Even though my team is great at it. So I lean on my team big time. They teach me all the time. They're preparing a video for me now so that I can learn some more. But anyway, so Mike, all right, here we go. Here's some guy. He connects with me. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, how you doing?" Maybe a day or so goes by. I want to pull this thing up. It comes by, and I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about it. Maybe a day or so goes by, and he's like, he checks back in with me, and when he checks back in with me, he starts to communicate with me, starts to ask a couple of little questions and things like that. He wants to know what I do. So I tell him what I do, and then he tells me what he does. And I'm telling you, man, here it is. Oh, yeah, here it is. All right. Well, I don't know how to pull up the words, so whatever.
We're learning.
Whatever. All right, I got it. All right. So look, this is how this thing starts talking. It's like, "Hello, friend." Like, "Hello, brother. How you are? Thank you for visiting my Instagram page." He's like, "Okay." He said, "I'm good. Thanks. How are you doing today?" "I'm doing great, brother. This is me. Thank you for asking." "All right. Where are you chatting from?" "Like Florida." "You?" "Dubai." He's like, "How is everything going over there?" It's all well. And I'm like, "I look forward to speaking in Dubai one day. That sounds amazing to me." "All is well, enjoying work and life. How about there? Is that your home or are you traveling?" "It's cool over here. Can't complain. What's your job?" So I lay this out on him. "I help startup coaches and business develop a more robust platform via website, landing page, and social media. I consult and or coach them in their business to help them excel at a rapid pace. What do you do?" "Interesting. You must be doing a great job. I'm an expert Forex trader," which I don't know what a Forex trader is. You probably do.
Foreign exchange.
Foreign exchange. All right, there we go. "With our 4 years experience, and I currently offer my service to beginner traders looking to make some real profit without having to trade by themselves." Now, stop right there for all of y'all out there. What just happened? He and I just gave our 10-second pitch. That was it, y'all. I want y'all to see this. Because this is where value is. When you talk with Mike, you're getting value. When you talk with me, you're going to get value. I'm not just trying to sell you something you don't need. All right. Everybody's got a mitten inside their kitchen drawer, to pick up a hot pan that they don't even like because they were on vacation and they were eating lobsters and they had lobster mittens and you bought one just because, but you ain't used it since. Everybody got a piece of junk in their house that they don't need. That's why Jim is telling Mike, don't even take your wallet with you because in the moment you'll buy whatever, So now I gave my pitch because he asked me for it. He gave his pitch because I asked him for it. Watch what happens now. That's a great niche. This is me. Most people want to trade, but don't want to learn how or feel overwhelmed. This is true, right? Priceless education with limited financial loss. I'm sure what you're doing is of value. Have you traded on it before? I'm not into trading. I have IULs and other passive income. That means you have been missing a lot because this is how a lot of people make money online these days. I'll enlighten you more about binary option trading and how you can be part of it also to make money online as a new income. Okay. Bottom line is, if I wanted to be cruel, he just lost me. unfriended. Dude, I just told you I don't want anything to deal with your trading. Nothing. I don't want to trade. This is what happens when people are trying to smash their square pegs into a round hole. I didn't fit the market. So he wanted to smash it in there because now he's impatient. And his impatience is starting to show up. But I'm being kind. Do you trade because you love it or because it's financially beneficial? I knew this was going on, and I'm like, I'm gonna walk through this thing. You see this, right, Mike?
I'm listening.
I'm a professional Forex trader. Do you know you can make up to 32K within 72 hours of trade?
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'm like, I don't want to do trading. I don't want it.
My thing is, if you could make up a 30, you wouldn't be. I'm sorry.
Why is he telling me on Instagram? If you get 32,000, why is he still working on somebody who doesn't want to trade? Right?
Yeah,
just go and do your trading. You should be making that much money constantly. Yes, that's exactly who it is. Yeah, thanks. Anna got the name down there.
Oh, okay. That's how I'm trying to figure out what.
So this is what I said. That's great. Passion within a career leads to purpose. So watch this, y'all. I'm about to educate him, and I'm going to give him something that I believe is gold. Whether, I'm going to offer it to him, and we'll see if he takes it. That's great. Passion with a career leads to purpose. Purpose leads to drive. I'm sure you do well in your business. Yeah, thanks. He's all thrown off now. Have you ever thought of giving it a try before? Third time after I told him, I don't want to trade. This is how I respond. Do you get a lot of clients through Instagram?
What did he say? What was the response?
He says, some of my students.
Okay.
So this is how I respond, Mike. No, I'm not interested in trading. Second time I told him, I can help you with a method to increase your volume. This is what I'm doing now. Why don't you give it a try and see how it really works? We're crossing over with our messages. And then he says, and method is that, if I may ask, or what method is that, if I may ask? Now recognize this to all the listeners. You see how I told him, no, I don't want anything. And he told me, yes, I want what you have to say.
Curiosity.
Stop telling people what they don't want. Offer people what you have, and if they want it, they'll tell you. And that was a mic drop.
Absolutely. First off, I'm going to congratulate you on your patience with the conversation, because that takes a lot of patience is what I'm going to call it in regards to it. Go ahead.
You know what else we'll call it, brother? Persistence. Patience and persistence. Let me close it out. I want to hear what you have to say. There's only a few more. Y'all bear with me. Sure. First, this is the first step. And those of y'all that are out there, write this stuff down. I'll give it to you too. I gave this away. This was free advice, and it's gold in my book. Sure. First, link up with your students. They use your services, right? Yes, of course. That's what he says. Next, ask your students to list 5 people that they believe would benefit from your services. From the same services that you're teaching them, 5 people. Then he tells me they are earning from my trading platform already. This is generally what happens when you're teaching somebody something. Impatience once again. Wait for it. That's what I'm thinking in my mind, but it's okay because I know how to deal with this. Remember, this is what I want him to understand. Remember this always. People don't like to be sold to, but they do like to be offered what they need or what they want. Everybody is willing to be offered something that they absolutely want. If I want cold water in the middle of the desert, offer it to me. I will buy it. Even if it costs me $100, if there ain't another place to buy water, I'll buy it. But if you're selling me sand in the middle of the desert, I just don't have no need for it. I don't want it. I don't care how you package it. I still don't want it. Can be all different types of colors and it can say my name in it. I don't want it. So stop asking. All right. So this is what I say. So what else should they benefit on? This is his question. I love this question. Once the friends and families of the students learn, they will be willing to give you 5 more leads. In other words, once they learn that they can get that $32,000 in however much time it was, they'll be willing to give you 5 more leads. So now the students are giving you 5 leads. The friends and family of the students, every last one of those 5 people give you 5 leads. You've gone from 1 student to 5 leads to 25 leads through 1 student. I don't know how many students he has, but you've just increased exponentially. And this is the thing. Your services make money. Everyone will benefit. This is how you go from hot to warm to cold, because you want to be in the cold to make your money. That's how you get there without bugging people like what he just did to me. And then I just left him with this, Mike. I hope you see the value in what I've offered. He never responded again. So
yeah,
that conversation.
I'm gonna tell you what, brother. Once again, I appreciate your patience with it. I think it gets back to exactly what we were talking about right prior to that, and that's the fact of you're so busy talking, or this person in particular, that you're dropping these jewels on this person in order to get you to the next level. But because you are faking it till you make it, and I don't know this guy, God bless him, but let's just be honest. If I made $32,000 in 72 hours, and I'm consistent with it, and I showed Joel how to do it, I don't even know if I would necessarily show Joel how to do it, but let's say I did show Joel how to do it instead of me doing it for Joel. It's probably what I would do and take a percentage of it, but if I showed Joel how to do it, and don't you think Joel is going to go find 4 or 5 other people like he just mentioned in order to go get, like, this is not, and I'm sure in regards to the platform, like you're getting paid for certain in order to use it. Like maybe he doesn't have to take percentage from Joel. Like I don't understand. I don't necessarily know the business model, but we're just talking about the sense that's being made. Because if this is in fact the case, like Joel said, this is selling water in the desert. I mean, a lot of people don't know how to make more. Shoot, I wish 32,000 every 72 hours. You know what I mean? Like you get that kind of information, it'd be an interesting thing. Listen, brother, your patience, and how many more of those are you going to actually do? You know what I mean? Like this gets back to the point of people coming to you humbly, asking questions, seeing what it is that you need, fulfilling that need, and then ultimately getting it is what you need to do. So, man, this has been a conversation well spent. Unfortunately, guys, we got to end it right there. Next week we're going to come back to you with the entire month's review. Might be hopefully it'll be a little bit longer conversation, because I love talking to the brother for as long as I can. Brother, what are your end thoughts on it? I think I got an end thought real quick, and we spoke about it right before the show. Was that just to sum this all up in regards to persistence and in regards to what was it? Preparation, is that your delay is not your denial. That I think I was thinking about that phrase from the beginning. Like, you might not get there as fast as you think that you or that you want to. I mean, who does, right? If we can all speed it up and skip steps, etc., that we'll get there. But there's certain steps that you personally have to go through on your own journey, and it's not delayed. If you're through the preparation, through persistence, you will not be denied. Just keep going. Go ahead, brother.
I love it. I would just say this. Listen, go out there, take the hits, take the no's, learn the lesson. Learn the lesson. That's part of your preparation. Seek out a coach, seek out some advisors, seek out some books, read about it, learn about it, master it. so that you can talk about it easily, liberally. You should be able to have this conversation about any piece of your business at the water fountain.
Absolutely.
Somebody just come up to you and ask you something. You should be able to speak it. Even if you don't have a 90-second pitch,
Absolutely.
You should be able to easily talk about what it is, that the value that you bring to the table. And then pursue it. Pursue it with patience, trust the process, and be persistent.
Absolutely.
Never give up. Like Ed Milet said, one more. Max out with one more. Whenever you get to the end, go one more. Make one more call. Make one more email. Give it one more shot. Don't give up, because those that win are those that never give in.
Absolutely. Guys, love you. Gonna get up out of here, brother. Closing it out.
Yeah. That's the end of it, y'all. We cutting it down real short, real quick. We got to get going. So please link up with us, DM us, like, subscribe, all that type of stuff. Remember to hit the bell ding so you can catch us on the replay. All right. Peace, y'all. Love you.
Peace out, bud.